It is an absolutely perfect day in Toronto. The roof at Rogers Center is wide open, and this is by far the best day we have had for baseball all season long. If you don't feel like playing baseball today, you should get out of the game. Brad Mills, Astros won the opener of this 3-game series. His ball club now 16-29. They are 9.5 back in the NL Central. Michael Bourne had a big night, top of the order last night. He had 3 hits and a couple of steals. Angel Sanchez had a hit in his only at bat. He's at second base tonight. Hunter Pence has done a good job driving in runs. He's hit .411 with runners in scoring position. Carlos Lee, former Blue Jay Brett Wallace, Chris Johnson, the third baseman, had the 2-run home run in last night's game. Barmes, Bogusevic, and Humberto Quintero round out the lineup for the Astros.
An offensive team that hit the 5-run mark for just the second time in 16 games. Their last 16 games, the Astros. Brandon Morrow to the mound. He opened the year on the disabled list with right forearm inflammation. So this is just his 6th start of the season. A little bit better in his last time out against the Minnesota Twins. He threw 5 innings and had 8 strikeouts in that game. He gave up 3 hits and 3 earned runs. Right-hander Morrow making his only appearance versus the Astros as a rookie with Seattle back in 2007, allowing 3 runs in 1/3 of an inning of relief.
Take a look at the defense. Patterson, Davis, and Bautista from left to right in the outfield. John McDonald gets the start at third base. Juan Rivera in his 3rd start at first base. Yunel Escobar, Aaron Hill up the middle. Jose Molina, as he always does, catching Brandon Morrow, and Johnny Mack taking over at third base today, giving Jason Nix a little bit of a break. And John McDonald has been Mr. Utility. He has played all over the infield and done it very well.
Yeah, what new? He's been throwing that leather out there, also making some great plays.
Michael Bourne, the leadoff batter, set for the first pitch and takes his strike at 93. We are underway. Pitch just off the outside corner.
Bourne was the batter last night late in the game. The big at bat, I thought, against John Roush, where Roush, he thought he had him struck out. Pitch on the outside corner. They go on to score a couple of runs last night.
There's that hard slider down and in, and Bourne swings over the top of it. That was a 3-2 pitch with 2 outs in the 8th inning. That was really the difference in the ball game. It was 2-0 at the time, and Bourne would get on base. He's been a hot hitter over his last 9 games. Wow. Pretty good pitch at 96, just off the outside edge.
Not a lot of corners so far. The first couple batters, that one looked like it was right there. It split Jose Molina. Didn't have to move his glove.
Well, we talk about Brandon Morrow and his ability to rack up the strikeouts, but he has truly developed into a pitcher, a guy that can work both sides of the plate, uses breaking ball anytime. The changeup's improving all the time. Warren lays off that pitch upstairs.
You know what hurts about that pitch not being called a strike? He's going to have to make the adjustments there, but it just adds to the pitch count. Last time out, Brandon threw 5 innings, but it took him 106 pitches to get through it.
Leadoff walk after Morrow was ahead of Bourne.
Scouting report for Brandon Morrow brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. He's got a big league fastball. That last pitch at 96 miles an hour. Last time out in Minnesota, he had trouble with his sliders. So we'll watch that today. He threw a good one there against Michael Bourne. And let's go deep into the game. We need Morrow to go deep on as few pitches as possible to give that bullpen a little bit of help.
Bourne is a threat to run at first. Molina asked for time. He wasn't set. Michael Bourne had 2 steals in the game last night. He was caught for the first time by a catcher this season in the 6th inning. J.P. Arancibia threw him out on a bang-bang play at second. It's missed upstairs. This is one thing that Morrow has had problems with in the first inning, and just getting into the strike zone, getting a rhythm and a feel where he can command the strike zone. Angel Sanchez came on defensively in last night's game. He had a hit in his only at bat.
You know, talking about that first inning, you're also gauging the umpire strike zone. Some umpires have bigger strike zones. They'll be a little bit more lenient on the outside corner. Just trying to get a feel for where Tony Randazzo's strike zone is here in the first inning.
There's a strike. And he evens a count at a ball on the strike. Sanchez has done the majority of his work defensively at shortstop. He started 27 games at short. This is just his 4th start at second base, and he's been struggling a bit with the bat. Just 3 for 25 in the month of May.
Yeah, struggling a little bit with the bat and with the glove. He came up with a big hit in last night's game when he came off the bench. This is a team, the Astros, coming into this series, the 5 previous games, they had only scored 10 runs. They had hit 200 as a team, but they didn't show that the last 2 innings of the game last night.
2 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th. That was the difference in the ball game. Going into the top of the 8th, it was 2-0 Blue Jays. There's a bunt up the first base line. It's a fair ball. Now he's going to let it roll, and that ball will trickle into foul ground. Good job by Rivera. Once that base runner gets past you, you've just got to let the ball roll out and hope it goes foul.
You have to make a decision right away also. And at first, I thought the decision was wrong by Rivera. I thought he could have grabbed the ball and got the out, but then when he let it go, he knows this ballpark. He knows that as it goes up that first base line, it's going to keep rolling and get over that foul line and roll foul. So Bournes now has to go back to first base.
You've been in that situation before where you think, just roll foul. Just keep rolling foul.
After you've made that decision to let it go.
1-2. Nobody out. Cut on and missed. First strikeout of the afternoon for Brandon Morrow.
He's got different weapons like we talked about in the opening. This time he just rears back and just throws a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right by Sanchez.
This has been a good spot for Brandon Morrow and the strikeout. You look at his last 5 home starts going back to last season. Of course, that great game against Tampa Bay, the 1-hit complete game with 17 strikeouts. He had 12 against the Yankees, 9 against the Tigers. And then this year, his first start of the season against Tampa Bay, he struck out 10 in just 5 1/3. Hunter Pence, he's the big run producer in this lineup. 33 RBI, including a game-tying double in last night's game in the 8th. Hit the ball over Bautista's head off the wall in right.
When you watch Pence hit, he's got his own style. He just tells himself 2 things: just get ready and be aggressive. It's not the kind of swing that you would take pictures of and say, okay, this is the right way to do it. But it's his own style. And Mike Barnett, the hitting coach, pretty much lets him go.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to his approach, and sometimes he's drifting off the plate, but he keeps the bat through the hitting zone very effectively.
He doesn't worry about mechanics a lot. He just says, just get ready and be aggressive.
Well, that's a good fastball. Gets it by Pence. Hunter Pence in his 4th season with the Astros. He came up in part of the 2007 season. He is late on that fastball.
Yeah, you can see his leg kick right there, and that ball's by him. And when he talks about just be ready to hit, that time he was surprised by that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
A base hit to right. Bautista charges, and Bourne will have to stop at second. There's another good example of how Pence stays behind it. He was beat on the previous fastball and made some adjustments and just slapped it through the right side.
Stayed back on it, and his own style works for him. Gets it done. He's got power to all fields, the ability to hit to right field. Squirts that one through. You see he stays behind that time. Got it ready. Got that front foot down that time.
Well, Astros threatening here in the first and second, 1 out. The cleanup hitter, Carlos Lee, steps in. Lee was 0 for 4 last night. He had a strikeout in that game. This is an area where Brandon Morrow has had some problems early on with runners in scoring position. He hasn't been quite as dominant.
You look at his numbers all up and down. Left-handers hitting 246, right-handers 200. But runners in scoring position 316.
Wonder how much that has to do with his delivery and the mechanics. Out of the windup, he has a much more dramatic turn of the shoulder in the front side,
where he can stay over that mound a little bit longer.
Ground ball hit to McDonald. He has to wait on it. Goes to second. Not in time. Johnny McDonald laid back a little bit as Bourne was closing in on him going to third, and by the time he gets it to Hill, it's too late. Pence hustled into second to beat the throw.
Yeah, the runner from second base, Bourne, was coming right at McDonald also. So that's why John Farrell's going to go out and talk to the umpire. Watch Bourne stop. Now remember a play earlier this year against the Blue Jays. Same thing happened. The runner was called out.
Escobar was running from second to third, and he was called out for interfering with the third baseman's ability to make a play.
And all the third baseman did, if I remember, he just stopped, just like McDonald did right there. It went against the Blue Jays, and that's why John Farrell is arguing with the crew chief, Brian Gorman.
And you bet he's calling upon that experience of having Escobar called out. That was against the Angels in extra innings, and
that's right.
It would have led to the go-ahead run. Escobar was ruled out. The run didn't count, and the Blue Jays would lose it in extra innings.
What was the argument then at that time that the umpire told John Farrell that he has to give him a chance to field the ball?
Yes, that's exactly what he said. But indeed, the third baseman fielded the ball cleanly, and then after the fact made a poor throw.
I thought it was a wrong call at that time, and I thought it was a right call here this afternoon.
Let's take a look at the umpire here as this play unfolds. There's McDonald.
If he could take one more step into the baseline, right into the baseline, and he would have been right there. Something has happened to Michael Bourne also. Brad Mills is out, the manager of the Astros, and he's going to go talk to him.
Yeah, the trainer is out. Nate Becerro is out with Brad Mills, the manager, and there was obviously no contact, but Michael Bourne's feeling something. And John Farrell has an argument here. If you look at the umpire's move at third base, the umpire signals safe, which indicates there's no interference. That's the only reason he would make that sign. And then after the fact, he comes out and, you know, he says, well, he didn't interfere with him, but it just doesn't. It's not consistent with the same call the Blue Jays had before.
That they got earlier.
That's the
so
problem.
one of the umpires is wrong because it's the exact same play. Right before he gets to the base, watch his left ankle right there, right on the bag, and that's a twisted ankle.
So the bases are loaded for Brett Wallace, and there's a first pitch strike. Brandon Morrow has thrown 19 pitches in the opening frame here. Last time out, he went just 5 innings because the pitch count got over 100. Fly ball into left. Bourne goes back to tag. Patterson will throw the ball to third base, and the Astros have taken a 1-0 lead. And Michael Bourne limped across home plate. It'll be interesting to see if he can stay in this game.
Wallace picks up the RBI, his 14th of the season. He drives the ball the other way. That's his strength, hitting the ball the other way. Bourne goes back and tags, and I was watching him come, and he started limping right there. Feeling it as he crossed home.
So the Astros have jumped out to 1-0 lead. They're now 2 down. Runners at first and second. Hunter Pence with a single. He's at second, and Carlos Lee's at first. Johnson goes too far on the first pitch. Chris Johnson, the third baseman, had a 2-run home run in the 9th off of Frank Francisco. That put the Astros up 4-2. They would tack on a 3rd run in that inning. Little flare into right field. That is trouble. That's in front of Bautista. Pence comes around to score. The throw is going to third base all the way through, and Lee is tagged out. Carlos Lee gets thrown out at third on an ill-advised route to third base. Brandon Morrow gets touched up for 2 runs on 2 hits in the first. Jose Bautista with a strong arm. He doesn't have a play at the plate, but he's got his eye on Carlos Lee and throws a strike to John McDonald to end the first. John Farrell can't be pleased with the developments here early on. Let's take a look at the lineup. The Blue Jays are 22-22 at 500. Escobar, Patterson, Bautista. Aaron Hill's been on a tear over his last 7 games. He's at 321. Juan Rivera, Rajai Davis, and Eric Thames. John McDonald, Jose Molina round out the lineup, and they are set to face Brett Myers.
Myers to the mound, picked up a no decision his last time out against the Braves at Turner Field. Pitched well in that game. 2 runs, 8 hits in 6 innings. He hasn't won since April the 12th. He was pulled from that last game after throwing 110 pitches. 1-2 with a .350 earned run average in 3 starts versus the AL last season in interleague play.
Yunel Escobar, 277 for the season. Escobar 1 for 5 last night. A breaking ball from Myers. Brett Myers in his 2nd season with the Astros, his 10th big league season. A cutter just on the outside edge. Brett Myers has been a workhorse. He's one of those guys you can count on for pitching deep into a ball game.
Got a lot of pitches in his arms, got a lot in his arsenal. Been around, like you said. Spent 8 years in the Philadelphia Phillies organization, pitching in the big leagues, pitching in different roles for the Phillies also.
Pitched out of the bullpen very effectively for Philadelphia. 2-2 to Escobar. Drilled to center field. Michael Bourne, he's back in front of the warning track, and he makes the catch.
You see Bourne still limping. He was the last man on the field for the Phillies, getting his ankle taped in between the innings. This team has made 38 errors this year, the most in the National League. Kokosevic in left field, Bourne and Pence in the outfield. Barmes and Angel Sanchez will form the middle of the diamond. Johnson and Wallace. Our first chance to see Brett Wallace over at first base, the former Blue Jay. Makes his first start back in his former organization.
Corey Patterson takes a first pitch strike from Brett Myers. Patterson 1 for 19 against Brett Myers.
Go figure. We have been talking about his numbers against some of the more elite pitchers in baseball. The Felix Hernandez, the John Lesters, and they're off the charts.
And here's a guy that you would expect him to have some success against, and he's had nothing but problems with him. There's that breaking ball. That's probably the pitch that causes problems for Patterson.
Myers has a very tight breaking ball, and he'll throw it with 2 strikes. So if you're going to get him, you got to get him early in the count.
And there's that curveball that Myers appears to be ready to give him a steady diet of breaking pitches.
Corey's been hitting .313 during this career-high 11-game hit streak. Picked up hit number 1,000 yesterday to keep it going.
Just off the plate inside. You can see Myers' velocity. He's going to pitch about 89 to 90 with his fastball, but he's got a good curveball and a very good hard slider. 2-2. He's got a piece of it to stay alive.
When he first came up, everything was petrol from Brett Myers. Everything was hard, same speed. Good hard fastball, good hard breaking ball. It didn't have the command or the control that he has now. Veteran, you mentioned his 10th year in the big leagues. He understands pitching and what he needs to do to get through his outings.
Hit hard, but right to the first baseman. Wallace will go to the bag, and Patterson's retired. Everybody recognizes the number 3 hitter in the Blue Jays lineup. It's HOU Bautista. He leads the majors with 16 homers. He's currently 0 for 8. First time this year he's gone 2 games without a hit. Swings at the first pitch. It cues it off the end of the bat.
We noticed against Tampa Bay, the beginning of this homestand, what Tampa Bay started doing to him, throwing him a lot of soft stuff early and inside, trying to get him to open up that front shoulder a little bit too much.
Broken bat hit to the shortstop, Barmas. Offline throw, and Bautista is aboard. The ball looked like it hit Bautista. He'll be credited with an infield hit. Barmas threw it on the run. He and Chris Johnson almost collided over there at third base, but the third baseman came across from his position.
Chris Johnson's telling him right now, next time that happens, I'll get down so I don't run you over. It will be an infield single, placed perfectly. Barmas, the only thing he could do was just try and throw it on the run, and the ball sails on him.
See how it hit Bautista as he was making his way to the bag. So he's aboard with 2 outs for Aaron Hill. Snap throw to first, and Bautista's back in safely. Hill's been a hot hitter. We mentioned his last 7 games. He's at .321. During that time, he's pounded out 6 doubles and driven in 5. Pat, you broke down this new batting stance. What do you like about Hill's approach right now?
Well, for the first thing, he sees the ball a lot better because he's more compact, he's more relaxed. Remember when his bat was so much higher, create a lot of tension in his swing. His swing would get long and loopy. Now he's got it right on his shoulder. It looks a lot like some of the Yankee hitters are starting to do. You watch Alex Rodriguez and you watch Nick Swisher. They have that bat right there, and you're in a good spot with your hands, and you're in a good spot for the bat just to come through.
There goes Bautista. It's a strike. The throw to second is not in time. Bautista has the stolen base. Running on a 3-0 count, Hill took a strike, and Bautista has himself in scoring position.
Trying to catch the defense by surprise. Brett Myers gives him one look. He takes off. HOU Bautista has only been thrown out 1 time this year, attempting to steal.
Blue Jays trail 2-0. Ball is popped up behind second. Sanchez shading his eyes from the sun as there makes the catch. Hill's retired, and the Blue Jays strand a runner. We played an inning here at Rogers Center. The Astros have taken a 2-0 lead. Center. JoJo Reyes and Kyle Graybeck signing autographs earlier this afternoon. Reyes went 7 innings, allowed just 5 hits and no runs in a great start last night. Walked 1, struck out 7, left the game in position to win, but the bullpen couldn't hold it. It was a 2-0 game when he left.
And the Astro hitters, that's all they talked about after the game last night, how impressed they were with Reyes, with his cutter, with his fastball, and with a good changeup last night.
Shortstop Clint Marmas will lead things off here in the second inning. Swings at the first pitch. The Astros scored 2 in the first, and now they have scored 7 runs in their last 3 innings. Looking back, they had scored 6 runs in the previous 43 innings.
And when you're struggling to score runs, you'll take them any way you can get them.
Yeah, that first inning was an assortment of ways to score. There are the numbers: 7 runs in the last 3 innings, 5 in the 8th and 9th last night. Morrow's ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Barnes done a pretty good job in an interleague play. Came up with the Colorado Rockies. He was their shortstop and then suffered a shoulder injury. And then the added situation of Troy Tulowitzki's development. There's a strike at the knees. Good fastball fits Barnes. Let's go back and look at that first inning and how the Astros scored 2 runs.
Michael Bourne started it off. This looked like it could have been strike 3, but it's called a ball. He would eventually walk, and then Hunter Pence pushes a ball to right field. Not hit particularly hard. And then this one right here, they didn't get an out in that, and it cost them. Sacrifice fly and then a little bloop to right field. Scored another run. Heads up play by Bautista to get the runner at third to shut the inning down. But it wasn't, the balls were not hit particularly hard, and they got a couple of calls.
Brian Bogusevic, the left fielder, pinch hit in last night's game. Bogusevic is an interesting study. He's a former pitcher that has made the transition and worked his way back up to the big leagues. Hits this ball through the hole at shortstop in the left field.
Morrow's been throwing and making some good pitches. The Astros have been just finding the holes here early. Watch the reaction for Morrow. He can't believe that ball got through on the left side.
Well, once again, all you can do is make good pitches, keep the ball on the ground like that, and the infield can help you out. Number 9 hitter Humberto Quintero, the catcher. You would imagine that the Astros are going to be a little aggressive on the bases, and they have scored runs. They've had a tough time. They snapped the 5-game losing streak with the win last night.
They might have the right guy at the plate too. Quintero looking for his 3rd straight multi-hit game. The catcher for the Astros.
Bogusevic faked the break at first, and Quintero takes the strike there. His numbers over his last 12 games. He's done the majority of the catching. This is his 29th start behind the plate. On the ground, Hill comes after it. You'll have to go to first, and that's all they'll get. They get Quintero, but they get another base runner in scoring position. The Astros, Bogusevic is at second now. Another ball not that sharply hit.
And because it wasn't sharply hit, they can't turn 2. Off the end of the bat, Morrow breaks the bat of Quintero, but it works just like a sacrifice.
So we're back to the top of the order now. Michael Bourne walked and scored in the first. Went after that high fastball. Michael Bourne, a prototypical leadoff guy. Doesn't have a whole lot of power, but makes up for it with his speed.
Boy, he's got great speed. He's one of 4 major league players with double-digit stolen bases and doubles this season. There's the defensive alignment for the Blue Jays.
Corey Patterson over near the line in left. Played perfectly. Corey Patterson backs up a few steps and makes the catch, and the Astros are retired here in the second. Brandon Morrow has a much better second inning. This is his 3rd consecutive start, and he looks very at home over there at first.
Yeah, good feet, good hands. This time he'll take a ball and end the inning on a nice running catch. This is the one that I like. Escobar's going to throw the ball. Watch as Rivera stretches and then has to readjust as that throw is toward the outfield side. Shows good quick feet and good hands. And he's starting to swing the bat now, squaring some pitches up a little bit more. John Farrell says if he produces, he's going to play. And he's earned another start.
Funny how managers think like that, huh? Get a couple of hits, hit a home run every now and then. Chances are you're going to play. He's been productive in interleague plays. He has 15 home runs in the interleague games. Hits this ball toward left center. Bogusevic is back and the run and jumps and makes the catch. Boy, he got a pretty late jump, but had the speed to close ground and catches that ball just before he hits the warning track.
Took a nice route to the ball. Again, a former pitcher, former #1 pick by the Astros back in 2005. Started as a pitcher. That didn't work out. They moved him to an everyday player. Their best pinch hitter. And a pretty athletic play right there to take extra bases away from Juan Rivera.
Spent 4 years in the Houston organization as a pitcher. And then converted to a position player. Same thing that Adam Lowen is trying to do. Lowen, a former #1 pick of the Orioles, currently at Las Vegas. Splitting the time between the outfield and first base. Rajai Davis pops it down the right side. Hunter Pence over near the foul line makes the catch.
Brett Myers to the mound for the Houston Astros this afternoon. 10 years in the big leagues. This is his second with Houston. The scouting report, he's a pure power pitcher. Everything is hard. Good fastball, good breaking ball, tight, hard curveball. He'll cut the ball a little bit, and he's a tough competitor. He will set the tone for the game with his aggressiveness out on the mound. Doesn't throw as hard as he did when he was younger, but has a great idea.
Eric Thames continues to get playing time at the DH spot. I asked Garrick if he was loading up on video information. He said, you know what, I've been thinking way too much since I've gotten here. And he backed off watching Myers an awful lot.
That's easy to do. You have so much information. You've got scouting reports and video and everything else, sometimes it's better just to keep it simple.
Fouls off that pitch outside. And I asked Eric this afternoon around the batting cage, I said, how did you hit when you were a kid? Did you have video of your opposing pitcher then? He just laughed. He said, of course not. Well, you seem to do okay then. 2-2, 2 outs. Lays off that breaking ball. That's the one thing I have really been impressed with, is his ability to lay off the breaking balls, and he's got a pretty good eye at the plate.
Recognizing pitches and not intimidated up there by his surroundings.
Chase that changeup off the plate. Myers got him. That veteran changeup with 2 strikes does the trick. Blue Jays go quietly in the second. It's 2-0 Houston. A long weekend. Tomorrow the game will start at 1:07 p.m. We'll be joined for the 3rd game of this series. The Jays on Sportsnet. Astros and Blue Jays will be on Sportsnet 1. That's 10 a.m. Pacific time. Kyle Drabek will try to make it 2 in a row as he goes up against the left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. Nori Rodriguez pitched a very good game in last night's game, the young 23-year-old right-hander. Angel Sanchez goes after the first pitch and pops it out of play. Sanchez struck out his first time up. Jumps on that high fastball and lines it to center, but Davis is there. 1 up, 1 down here in the 3rd.
Brandon Morrow much better in the 2nd inning than he was in the 1st inning. 22 pitches to get through the 1st inning. Just 12 last inning. That's what the Blue Jays are going to need from him today. Get through quick, use that fastball, see if you can get some early outs with it.
Hunter Pence is off to a good start in this series. 3 for 5 so far. You mentioned Hunter Pence, kind of a throwback approach at the plate. Chokes up on the bat. A lot of moving parts. He's a cut and slash guy for sure.
Cut and slash. I haven't heard that in a long time. Slasher.
Yeah, he'll step toward 3rd and hit it to right.
Right. Don't worry too much about mechanics, the mechanics of hitting, but he's got some power. Standing with him around the cage yesterday, he's a lot bigger than I thought.
Guy chokes up on that bat handle, a couple of inches. What's that do for a hitter when they hit with that choked up grip?
Well, hopefully you're hoping that it gives you a little bit more back control where you can control the head of the bat. He's a grinder. Watch him. Look how hard he holds that bat.
Little chopper towards short. Escobar in a hurry, in time to get Pence. Well, another thing Escobar has done, he used to have a glove tap. When he would get the ball, he would tap the glove before he throws. He's eliminated that.
Catch and throw. Makes it a lot quicker, more accurate. You see a lot of infielders with the glove tap. That's just a timing mechanism as they set the ball in their hand when they are transferring it from the glove to their hand.
2 outs for the cleanup batter. Carlos Lee goes after that first pitch slider. Astros scored 2 runs on 2 hits in the first. Ball is driven toward the gap in right center. Bautista is not going to get it. Goes all the way to the wall. Lee is headed for second, and he'll pull up there with a 2-out double. His 8th double of the season.
Carlos Lee starting to warm up with the weather. He is now hit in 13 of 15 games this month. Breaking ball down and away, and he's got good plate coverage. Drives it to the gap in right center field on a pitch down and away from him. Doesn't hang up there long enough for Bautista to run it down.
Yeah, initially, Jose thought he had a chance to make the catch, and then the ball kept carrying and got past him all the way to the wall. 2 outs now for Brett Wallace. Wallace picked up an RBI with a sac fly to left.
Good opposite field power for Wallace. That's the type of hitter he is. Take the ball the other way. Got off to a blistering start this year.
Cooled off a bit in the month of May, averaged still over 300. '24-year-old Brett Wallace. Late on that fastball.
How hot was his start? On May the 3rd, he was hitting over 380. Couple of home runs and 10 RBIs. Since then, pitchers have been really pounding him with the fastball and then showing him a lot of off-speed pitches. Just hasn't been able to get the barrel to the ball and pull it. There's a good fastball inside. That's why we see Rajai Davis, the center fielder, shading him towards left center.
Yeah, combination of Wallace's style of hitting and the Morrow velocity. You can see the outfield is a step toward the opposite field. 2 balls and a strike, 2 outs. Lined into right field. Bautista's got a shot. They're going to stop Lee at third. The ball goes all the way through. Dave Clark, the third baseman. Lee's already been thrown out once by Bautista. They stopped him. That ball went right to the right fielder.
Good decision by Dave Clark, the third base coach for the Houston Astros. Just when we're talking about him hitting the ball the other way, he gets the head out, pulls it, and he would have been DOA at home plate. Perfect throw from Bautista.
So now the Astros have runners at the corners and 2 outs. Chris Johnson, the third baseman, picked up his 3rd RBI in this series in his first at bat. Johnson hitting just .221, but he has 20 RBI. That's good for 3rd on the Astros. Misses the breaking ball. Another situation where Morrow is working with runners in scoring position. In fact, you talked about his problems. He hasn't been able to really pitch as effectively out of the stretch with runners in scoring position as he has from the windup.
The runners in scoring position, 2 outs at 375, and just need to make good pitches. So far so good. The first 2 here to Johnson. He likes to turn when he's on that mound, and when there are runners on base, doesn't look like he has an exaggerated turn as he does when he's in the windup.
Lee's at third, Wallace at first, 2 outs. Chris Johnson's in a hole, 0-2. Brandon Morrow through his first 3 starts, he was pretty dominant. Pitched into the 6th inning, averaged almost 12 strikeouts per 9 innings, but his last 2 haven't been that good.
Well, and it's the pitches per inning, that last column there, 21 pitches per inning. I think that's why we see the strikeouts going up a little bit. I'm sure he would trade some strikeouts for smaller pitch innings.
Quick innings, a couple of quick ground ball outs, and a chance to economize on his pitch count. And John Farrell understands the value of being economical. That'll keep a starter in the ball game longer and give him a chance to work into the 7th, sometimes into the 8th. A ball and 2 strikes. Astros lead 2-0. Base hit into right field. Lee will come home, and Johnson has driven in 2. Well, that was a pretty good approach. With 2 strikes, he just stayed on the outer half and shot the ball into right.
Not a lot of movement, not much of a stride for Johnson. Stays back, shortens it up. I don't even think he moved his front foot at all. Just used his hands to poke it into right field for a 2-out RBI single.
Chris Johnson's become a one-man wrecking crew. He has 4 ribbies in the series. Clint Barmes goes after that first fastball. Already the Astros are 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They've been able to get to Brandon Morrow. They have 6 hits already. And a pickoff play on at first base as Rivera broke in behind the base runner at first, but the ball was fouled off. To expand on the Astros clutch hitting, they are 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Just an expansion on the numbers that we were talking about when runners get on base.
Grounded toward third. McDonald will go to the bag and meet Brett Wallace there at third, and the Astros are retired, but they add another run. They have taken a 3-0 lead middle of the 3rd. In Toronto, and you can see Center Island, the ferries going back and forth. A lot of people out over this long weekend, and it's been a frustrating start to the ball game for Brandon Morrow. Finds himself down by 3 early on.
Giving up 6 hits, and 3 of them with runners in scoring position. Has cost him 3 runs. So the offense has some work to do. Need to figure out Brett Myers.
8-9-1 for the Blue Jays here in the 3rd inning. First pitch swinging, lifts the fly ball to left. 1 pitch, 1 out. Brett Myers has retired 5 in a row.
It's only given up the infield single and the stolen base to Bautista. Houston pitching last year in interleague play gave it up to the tune of 312, which was the highest in Major League Baseball last year.
This is just another reminder how you got to bring your game to the ballpark every single day, no matter who you're playing. Major League Ball Club, they can beat anybody on a given day. Houston comes into this game with a 16-29 record.
Came in flat too in this series. It's been a long road trip for Houston. Haven't been scoring any runs. Their bullpen was giving up runs left and right, but so far in this series they've out-hit the Blue Jays and they've out-pitched them.
Big difference in last night's game was the way the Houston Astros bullpen pitched. Their bullpen was great. Wilton Lopez came in to pitch the 8th inning, struck out all 3 batters he faced. Picked up the win.
That was pretty impressive from what we've seen from Lopez. He's been battling a little bit of a flu on this road trip.
Jose Molina, the catcher, looks at a fastball downstairs. It's 2-2. The Astros lost a tough game in the 2nd game in Atlanta. They took a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the 9th inning. Brian McCann hit a home run to tie it. They appealed down to Tony Randazzo, who Dan Molina's at first today, and is denied. But McCann tied it up with a home run in the 9th and then won it with a 2-run home run in the 11th. That was part of this road trip. Houston lost 2 in Atlanta and 2 in St. Louis. Full count to Jose Molina, the number 9 hitter. Another breaking ball. Myers just won't give in to you. He'll come at you with everything with 2 strikes.
Doesn't get the strikeout totals like he did when he was younger, but he knows how to pitch. First time through the lineup, he's looked very good. 3-2, number 9 hitter, slider. Down and away, strikeout number 2.
His other strikeout was a changeup to Eric Thames.
That might have been a 3-2 pitch also, I believe.
Escobar takes the strike.
That's the whole key, I think, to pitching is don't be predictable. Just keep moving it around, changing things up. Don't fall into patterns. Real quality pitches.
Well, that's the old adage about starting pitching. You have to command 3 pitches. You have to command both sides of the plate and have the ability to throw your secondary pitches when you're behind.
You know, not just throw them, but be able to command them, control them where you want to throw them. That pitch to Thames to strike him out was on the outer half. That one to Molina was down and away.
3-1. John Farrell was talking about Escobar in the leadoff spot. So yeah, he's probably not the prototypical Michael Bourne kind of leadoff hitter, but he gets on base. He has a decent eye and makes the pitcher work. Pops this one up over near the right field foul line. Hunter Pence in foul territory, can't make the play. That's just a product of his first series in this ballpark. Wasn't really sure where he was and how quickly he was closing in on that fence.
As an outfielder, the first thing you do, you have to get to the wall. The ball was drifting on him and it kept getting pushed away from him. Not real sure where he was in contact with that wall. Reaches out for the ball and misses it. So an extra chance for Escobar.
Hits it to the shortstop. Armas spins around and fires in time to retire Escobar. Another good inning for Brett Myers. We've played 3 complete here at Rogers Center. Houston leads it 3-0. MasterCard Memorial Cup from Mississauga, Ontario. The action continues tonight with Owen Sound and Kootenay. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. MasterCard Memorial Cup. A perfect day for baseball. The roof is wide open here at Rogers Center. Everybody getting out, enjoying the great weather. This is the first day where you come out for batting practice and it feels like a baseball day.
It feels like baseball. Smells like a ballpark today, doesn't it? With the sun shining and the roof open.
Left field there. Brian Bogusevic had a hit in his first at bat. Did not start in last night's game. Came on and had a pinch hit appearance. Ball on the strike.
When they gave up on Bogusevic as a pitcher and he started hitting again, they sent him back down to Double-A. It had to work his way to the major leagues. And it was a slow process. 2007 was when the change was made. 2008 he started hitting in Double-A. And that time blown away by that fastball. Took him a couple years, but he got up to Houston last year.
Third strikeout for Morrow. See, the target is down, the fastball is up, but he blows it by Bogusevic. That ball is past him. One out in the fourth. Blue Jays have to dig their heels in. They need to put up a 0 here and come back and get something going.
That's the key right now. Just stop the bleeding right here. Last inning he got 2 quick outs, Sanchez and Pence, and then 3 straight base hits. Scored Houston's 3rd run. Stop it right there. Get some quick innings and then figure out Brett Myers.
Morrow falls behind the number 9 hitter, 2-0. Quintero chased a bad pitch. Three and 1. Brandon Morrow really hasn't settled in like we saw last year, second half of the season. His last 8 starts before he was shut down in September, he was in a groove. He loses that one and walks the number 9 hitter.
Yeah, he's fighting it right now. There was not a whole lot better than Morrow last year at the end of the season. You're seeing baby steps from him this year so far. Each start, that time he just buzzes it out of the strike zone. We were talking to Bruce Walton after that last start in Minnesota, and he said he was okay. Pitches were not as crisp and as sharp as we have seen him in the past.
Throws another ball to Michael Bourne, the leadoff hitter. And that's the one thing, you know, you hope a starter makes 33, 34 starts during the regular season, and probably about 7-8 times a year everything will be clicking. He just has to hope he can pitch his way out of situations when he's out of sync, out of rhythm. And Molina takes the ball out there and tries to help Brandon Morrow regroup here a little bit.
I've talked to some of the better baseball pitchers, and I've asked them that same question. How many times do you take your A game? I mean your A game, where everything is working. And out of 32, 34 starts, they say maybe 3, maybe 4 times. So you have to figure out how you're going to win when you don't have that.
And that's where experience comes into play, where you've got a lot of games under your belt and you have experienced all those different situations.
Yeah, where you got a good feel, where one day, gosh, my slider's not there. Well, Do I have a good feel with my fastball, and can I use it a little bit more? Vice versa. You got a good slider that day, but not a good fastball.
There's a strike. It's 3-1. And that's where the catches really become important, where they can get a read on just what kind of stuff you're featuring on a given day and make those adjustments and do it subtly. You don't have to tell it starter what he's doing. Hit on the ground. Hill to second for one. Back to first. Not in time. Or even with that slightly sprained ankle, Michael Bourne gets down the line. He didn't hit that ball really on a hard line to second base, but all they could get is the force out at second.
If you're going to turn two against him, it's got to be a two hopper to the second baseman. Even with the great arm of Escobar, they can't get him. Good feed from Hill. Good quickness, but he just outruns the baseball. We'll see how well his ankle is feeling now with 2 outs and him at first base.
Didn't show any signs that he wanted to run that time. Angel Sanchez with Bourne at first.
It's a no-brainer when his ankle's fine that he'd be off and running very quickly. Very short lead over at first base.
Ball in the strike. Yeah, he ran 3 times in last night's game. Had 2 steals and was caught once. So you got to be thinking that he's probably just trying to get through this ball game, not going to force the issue with that ankle.
52 stolen bases last year led the National League. 61 the year before that. 16 already this year.
Michael Bourne came to the Astros in a deal from Philadelphia. He came along with Jeff Gary and Mike Costanzo in exchange for Brad Lidge and Eric Brunton. It was back in November of 2007. 1-2, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Sanchez strikes out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Brandon Morrow. He has put up a 0. Now it's up to the hitters to come back and figure out Brett Myers. Blue Jays trail by 3.
Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
A perfect day for baseball or for being on the lake. 3-0. It'll be 2, 3, and 4. Middle of the Blue Jays order. Corey Patterson starts things off. It's been a nightmare for Patterson against Brett Myers. He is now 1 for 20 against the Astros right-hander. Off-speed pitch.
So far in this ball game, Brett Myers is doing to the Blue Jay hitters what JoJo Reyes did to the Astros last night. flash a good changeup and a good breaking ball.
Patterson hits that breaking ball, hits it into the second deck, but well fouled. Corey Patterson's on a career high 11-game hit streak. It's the 4th time he has had an 11-game hit streak. First time since 2004. One and two. Patterson leading off the Blue Jays' 4th. Hit sharply. Wallace is there at first. The underhand toss to Myers, and Patterson has been retired. Take a look at this catcher, Humberto Quintero, how he gets some room inside. Watch how he moves the umpire. Let him know he's coming inside. Just to give the umpire heads up, hey, I'm going to be inside. You got to figure out a way to see over the top of my shoulder.
Sometimes those umpires will reach down in there and look in there and block the catchers.
Jose Bautista has singled to short. You see anything in Bautista's approach lately that's changed?
Just pressing a little bit. For me, watching him going out of his strike zone, not staying within himself. When he's going well, he's got that timing down. He's got his foot down early. Some indecision. Like there. Indecision of what he wants to do.
In 20 plate appearances since he has last hit his home run, and he's got the best at-bat per home run ratio in baseball. Indecision by meaning he's not sure which pitch he wants to see.
What he wants to see, what he wants to hit. When he was going well, he was saying, I'm sitting on certain pitches, I'm looking for pitches, and I'm not missing them.
Change up just off the plate. It's 2-2. The beauty of baseball is you get 4, maybe 5 at bats every game. Pulled to the third baseman. Johnson has plenty of time, and Bautista's retired. 2 outs.
Expectations too are very tough to overcome, and when he was in that groove hitting home run after home run, your expectations are, well, he's going to hit another one. Well, it's so hard to hit a home run.
He has 16 already. Two outs. Aaron Hill popped to the second baseman his first time up. We had mentioned how tough Brett Myers is, his ability to pitch consistently deep into a ball game. It's been remarkably consistent for Myers in that ability. There's a fly ball to right field. Hunter Pence turned, but he's got room. In front of the warning track, he makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down, 4th inning. We've played 4 complete here at Rogers Center. Now it's time for an update with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn at the BlackBerry Broadcast Studio.
Looks like they're under control. They're not trying to do too much with the ball. Just stay within themselves and hit the ball the other way. They've had 6 hits, 5 of them the other way against Morrow. Another thing to watch is the pitches are center cut. They're right down the middle of the plate and they're up. Astro hitters are doing a good job of staying back and staying within themselves against Brandon Morrow.
It's kind of what Greg Zahn alluded to in that update, the fact that Morrow hasn't been able to create that good downhill angle. There's a breaking ball pulled foul.
We had that quick shot of Mike Barnett. That's got to make him happy. That's what he preaches, using the whole field. Don't overswing. Stay within yourself. Shoot the ball the other way if you have to. That's exactly the technique that he uses.
See, Hunter Pence will use the whole field. He just spreads out the defense about as thin as you can get. I asked Hunter Pence about his first visit to Toronto. He says he loves it. He said, I've never been to Canada before. I love this ballpark and really likes the area where the team is staying. They're staying in the Yorkville area, and he walked around, looked at the architecture, looked at the shops. He said, I really love this town. He's really excited about his first trip to Toronto.
Well, that's good. Just stop hitting. He's been on a tear the first couple of games here. Enjoy the restaurants, enjoy the shopping, put your bats away. We talked about the mechanics, and he's not too worried about mechanics, Hunter Pence. This is just an aggressive style at that plate.
Chases that high fastball. Morrow with the strikeout to start the 5th. That's number 5 for Morrow.
We were just talking about being under control and shooting the ball the other way. And Hunter Pence goes upstairs, swings through a fastball from Brandon Morrow.
There's a ball pulled through the left side. Carlos Lee has his second hit of the afternoon. He's been on base 3 times.
I think he likes this DH thing here in the American League. It's the head out that time, sitting on that pitch against Brandon Morrow. Shoots it through the left side.
This is the 77th game that Carlos Lee has DH'd. Of course, he started out in the American League with the Chicago White Sox, then spent a couple of years in Milwaukee, half a season in Texas before signing with Houston in 2007. Brett Wallace has had a good day. Sac fly in the first, had a base hit in the 3rd. There goes Lee. Molina's throw to second, not in time. Carlos Lee caught the Blue Jays flat-footed, his second steal of the season. Surprised everybody.
Pitchers can fall into patterns also. Give them one look. And there goes Lee. When he was younger, he would have big stolen base seasons. Big for a big man like that as that throw hits him.
Had 18 steals for the White Sox back in 2003.
It's like that throw got him in the left hand. Big power hitter. You wouldn't think that he'd be able to get 18 steals.
He's had 7 double-digit steal seasons. So he will be very heads up when he feels like he can catch the pitcher off guard. That Wallace has another hit into right. That one hops right to Bautista. The stop sign is already up for Carlos Lee. Brett Wallace making an impression on his former team. Been perfect at the plate here this afternoon.
Sac fly and a couple of singles. Middle of the lineup has really been a lot of trouble. Look again where that pitch is. It's up and in the middle of the plate. Able to get the head out and pull it. A couple of hits for Lee, 2 for Wallace, 2 already for Johnson. So the 4, 5, 6 hitters have been tough.
Chris Johnson now, first and third, 1 out. Morrow needs a ground ball double play. Boy, Johnson's doing a good job of staying back, not going out and over swinging. His hits had a little flare into right field. Base hit in his second at bat. He's got 2 hits in, driven into.
As a catcher, when you see a guy doing that, what do you do as a pitcher to try and combat that?
Well, you want to be able to pound him inside a little more, and that's where Molina's going. Try to stay in his kitchen. He gets this one extended. That should be deep enough to score lead. Davis back. Lead tags. Wallace went back to first and tag, but Lee will jog home with the 4th Astros run. Johnson picks up another RBI.
Homered in last night's game, 2-run home run. His approach is very simple at the plate. Not a big stride, under control. Just make sure you get the barrel out in front. Good, productive at bat right there for Chris Johnson.
Johnson hit a 2-run home run in last night's game in the 9th inning, and then has an RBI in each of his 3 at bats here this afternoon. He's not going to want to leave town. Clint Barmes, the shortstop. Well, you talk about Carlos Lee. His second steal proves to be a very important steal, as he got himself to second base, went to third on the base hit, and scores on the sac fly.
Taking advantage of a little bit of everything so far. They had that play in the first inning where John Farrell was hoping for an interference at third base. That ended up costing him a couple of runs, a sacrifice fly and a 2-out single later. A double and 3 singles, scored their 3rd run. And the sacrifice fly after the stolen base.
Well, the Astros certainly don't look like a team that had been hard pressed to score runs. They're having very good at bats. Barmes pops it up left side of the diamond. Corey Patterson jogs in. He makes the catch. The Astros are retired, but they add another run. Chris Johnson's driven in 3. Blue Jays trail by 4. In play at the Rogers Center, a 4-game series. It'll start Thursday, May 26th. It's a night game, 7:07 p.m. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. Ozzie Guillen's White Sox have Jake Peavy back in the rotation, and their bullpen has really played well of late. They pitched very well. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Ozzie Guillen and the Chicago White Sox, a 4-game series starting Thursday, May 26th.
It's always entertaining when Ozzie brings the troops to Rogers Center.
And they're starting to play well.
Yeah. It's a good team. Good pitching.
Juan Rivera, line to left his first time up. Blue Jays have but 1 hit. Brett Myers has been struggling in the month of May, but he looks like a world beater here this afternoon. He's ahead of Rivera 0-2.
Giving up 14 earned runs in 15 2/3 innings coming into this game so far this month, but he's retired 10 in a row.
We had mentioned Myers and his ability to go deep in a ball game. He started his Astros career by going 6+ innings in 40 of his 42 starts. That goes back to the beginning of the 2010 season. Only Roy Halladay and Jared Weaver had a longer such streak.
14 wins last year. Led the staff. He was named the Astros Pitcher of the Year last year. Set career marks in ERA and innings, and he tied his career high in wins with 14. But you're right, he gives them innings. Quality starts.
There's another base hit. Juan Rivera rips it through the left side of the infield into left.
Save during the lawn and garden sale only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
So the leadoff man's aboard here in the 5th. Blue Jays need some base runners, and they'd love to cut into this 4-run deficit here in the 5th. Rajai Davis shows bunt. Rivera better stay close to the bag and keep his head up. Quintero does a good job throwing to the bases. He's picked off 2 already this season. Last year, Quintero led the majors with 7 pickoffs.
Yeah, not afraid to throw it around either.
We talk about Aaron Hill making an adjustment at the plate. Rajai Davis has made a real positive adjustment at the plate.
He's been very susceptible to right-handed sliders down and away. Watch his front foot. He really opens up and steps toward third base.
Out in front of this breaking pitch and lifts it down the left field line. Bogusevic is there.
I think pitchers have caught on to that, and they've started throwing him a lot of breaking balls off the plate. So Dwayne Murphy has gotten Rajai Davis to get a little bit closer to the plate so he can reach those pitches.
So the rookie Eric Thames will hit with 1 out. Thames struck out against Myers his first time up. It's a first pitch fastball. There's that good curveball that Myers always has confidence in. He can throw it any time, and Thames finds himself in a quick hole.
Keeps it down also. That's the thing that you have to remember with Brett Myers is he keeps that breaking ball down.
Missed upstairs with that breaking ball that time. But you can see Myers very, very confident on the mound. I mean, he has an idea what he wants to do. We mentioned this is his 10th big league season. There's a base hit over the shortstop's head. Rivera goes around second. He'll stop there. Pretty good piece of hitting by Eric Thames. A 2-strike base hit over the shortstop.
And that's the thing that's impressed us, his ability to make adjustments. Struck out his first time on the same pitch. Change up, down, and away. This time he'll keep his head down, keep that front side in, and just shoot the ball to left field.
First and second, 1 out. John McDonald. Flew out the left his first time up. It's a first pitch slider for a strike. This is the first time the Blue Jays have had 2 base runners on.
Second time they have gotten a runner to second base. They got to start hitting with runners in scoring position.
In last night's loss, they were 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They stranded 8 base runners, and they had Nuri Rodriguez on the ropes early in that game and couldn't come up with a big hit.
Yeah, just looking for that one hit to ignite the team, ignite the crowd, get them into the ball game. Just didn't happen. You got a feel for that as you go through those games, leaving all those runners on base.
Two balls and a strike, 1 out. Blue Jays trying to break through against Brett Myers here in the 5th. McDonald out in front of that pitch. Blue Jays have an extra bench player. Mike McCoy has rejoined the ball club. He came up from Las Vegas in time for this game. Line to the third baseman. That'll be a inning-ending double play. Well, you can't guide it. John McDonald hit it on the nose right at Chris Johnson at third, who made an easy throw to second to get Brett Myers out of the inning. McDonald hits it right to third, and they turn it into an inning-ending double play. Children's Miracle Network, the TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. And you couldn't have a better day to be sitting front row here at Rogers Center. It is a gorgeous day. The only thing that's not very good about this day, the score. 4-0. Blue Jays are trailing the Houston Astros. Brandon Morrow has sorted things out a little bit here in the middle innings. He has thrown 87 pitches through 5 innings.
He needs a 1-2-3 inning. He hasn't had one of those yet.
Houston's had a runner on in every inning. Brian Bogusevic, the left fielder. He was part of that 2005 draft. He was a pitcher out of Tulane University in New Orleans.
That was the Ricky Romero draft with Ryan Braun, I believe, was in that, and Ryan Zimmerman.
Troy Tulowitzki, Jed Lowry, Jacoby Ellsbury. I mean, it's just a loaded draft, and Bogusevic now has made it to the big leagues as a hitter as well. Ricky Romero was taken right ahead of Troy Tulowitzki, and Romero has panned out. Boy, again, the Astros doing a great job of staying behind the baseball and letting it come to them.
Yeah, under control, not trying to do too much with it. fastball beats the batter, and he just fouls it off. You see where he hits it behind him. It's one of the ways that Mike Barnett teaches his hitters. Under control. You were mentioning some of the other players in that draft. Escobar was in that draft. Jeremy Hellickson. Clay Buchholz was a compensatory pick that the Red Sox got when they let Pedro Martinez go.
Jay Bruce of the Reds has turned out to be a pretty good player as well. We will see the Reds on the National League swing through interleague play. Cincinnati, Atlanta, St. Louis will be the three towns that we hit. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia will be here at Rogers Center later on in the summer. Breaking ball went too far. That's the sixth strikeout for Morrow. First out here in the sixth.
Save during the lawn and garden sale. Only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Number 9 hitter is the catcher, Humberto Quintero. He's grounded out and walked. He goes the other way, but right to the right fielder, Bautista. That's what you were talking about, Pat, a quick inning. Trying to get a 1-2-3 inning for the first time this afternoon.
Challenge the bottom of the lineup right there. Get some quick pitch innings, and maybe they can get another inning out of Brandon Morrow. He's thrown 95 pitches.
Michael Bourne got it started here this afternoon. He walked in his first at bat, came around to score. He scored on a sacrifice fly off the bat of Brett Wallace. 4-0 Houston leads. Bourne came to the Astros, as we mentioned earlier, in a trade with Philadelphia for Brad Lidge. And it was just because Philadelphia had Shane Victorino in center, they were able to deal Bourne. There's a fly ball toward the gap in left field. Corey Patterson back makes the running catch. Indeed, Brandon Morrow has a 1-2-3 sixth inning. We have played 5.5. Blue Jays down by 4. Pacific time on Sportsnet 1. More Major League Baseball right here on Sportsnet. The Chicago Cubs will be back in Boston tonight. The matchup, Carlos Zambrano goes for the Cubs against Alfredo Cevis for the Red Sox. Red Sox are beat up right now.
Yeah, but they're pounding the baseball. Can you believe that the Cubs haven't won in Fenway Park in 93 years now?
That's a long drought.
That's a long time. You know?
The 1918 World Series, the last time the Cubs were in Boston.
It's the first time that Houston has come to Toronto.
Now, the only other Major League team that has not made an appearance here in Toronto, the San Diego Padres. Brett Myers pitching here in the 6th inning. This is what he does. He keeps you in a ball game, and he now is looking for his first win of the month of May. Coming into this game, he was 0-2 with an ERA over 7 in the month of May.
Blue Jays got to a little bit last inning. A couple of hits and then the line out for the double play. So maybe they're starting to figure out Mr. Myers. He's never started against them. He has made 2 relief appearances against the Blue Jays, and that was back in 2007 when he was with the Phillies.
Well, you know, the Blue Jays have seen a lot of Brett Myers going back to spring training. Phillies and Blue Jays always play a lot of games in spring training, and this is his 2nd year with the Astros after 8 seasons in Philadelphia. Molina drives it to center field. That'll get down in front of Michael Bourne. A leadoff base hit from the number 9 hitter.
Good start when the number 9 man can turn the lineup over. Myers misses his spot. Molina's starting to swing a hot bat this month with over 300. Good start here in the 6th.
That's a hard thing to do, sit around for 4 days and then get the start and have a good day at the plate.
He had 3 hits his last start when Morrow was on the mound in Minnesota.
Yunel Escobar bounces it to short, right through the legs of Clint Barnes. Oh man, the Blue Jays got a break there. That looked like it had a chance to be a double play.
A double play, and now a chance to open up the inning. Barmes' 2nd error of the season. Told you that the Astros have been kicking it around this year. This is their 39th team error, which leads the major leagues, not just the National League, but the major leagues. Well, the door has been left open by that play right there. Let's see if the Blue Jays can take advantage of it.
Well, Barmes just got ahead of himself. He was thinking about 2 before he caught the baseball. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Big chance for John Farrell's Blue Jays. Boy, that is a tough air for Barmes and Myers. Now Corey Patterson has to try to capitalize on it. For back-to-back innings, the Blue Jays have had a couple of base runners on. Last inning, they hit into a double play. Bautista is on deck.
Boy, he keeps feeding them those breaking balls, don't they? Right under his hands. This is where the adjustment has to be made. You mentioned it his first time up. He came into this game 1 for 19 in his career. Myers keeps feeding him off-speed pitches.
Ball on the strike. That's hit hard to center field. Michael Bourne. What a catch. Extends over his shoulder. And Molina went back and tagged. He moves over to 3rd. Boy, Michael Bourne, you can see he wasn't running 100%. He sprained his ankle back in the 1st inning.
Michael Bourne has won 2 Gold Gloves in center field, and he just showed you why. After the miscue by the shortstop, the Gold Glove center fielder just saved a couple of runs and maybe more. The ankle is not feeling all that well when he tripped on the bag, but right there he saves his pitcher a couple of runs, reaching back over his head and somehow gathering that one in.
Boy, that was a fine defensive play after the error by Barmes, the shortstop. Bautista now with 1 out. Got a good fastball to hit. Bautista's single was an infield single back in the first inning. Molina's at third. Escobar is at first. There's a drive to left field. You can forget about this one. Jose Bautista, number 17.
And maybe that's the hit to ignite the offense. Get the crowd into it. The timing was pretty good on that breaking ball right there. We have been crossing him up all afternoon, and this time gets the foot down and hammers the ball out of here. No doubt.
Pretty good curveball, too. It was down in the zone, but he obviously had that pitch on his mind. Blue Jays capitalize on the air by Bonus. One-run game. And all of a sudden, there's a little energy in the building.
That one hit to ignite a team, ignite the crowd, get them fired up. Bautista does it again.
Hill gets underneath it and pops it. Foul territory. Rick Wallace is there. Dad makes a good catch, and he shares the excitement with his son. They come to the ballpark and get a Jose Bautista home run for a souvenir.
That's why you got to come out to the ballpark to enjoy those kind of moments.
2 outs now on Rivera. Rivera singled his last time up. Hits it sharply. This time Barmes gets in front of it. Rivera is retired, but the Blue Jays come up with 3 here in the bottom of the 6th. A 3-run home run by the major league leader in home runs, Jose Bautista. He hits the curveball, number 17. It's a 1-run game. In Phoenix, Arizona. Vote for your favorite Blue Jays players: Jose Bautista, Yunel Escobar, and J.P. Arencibia. You can cast your vote at BlueJays.com. Fans are reminded you can vote a maximum of 25 times per email address. Vote early, vote often. Send your Blue Jays to Phoenix for the All-Star game. Jose Bautista leading the majors with home runs. Yunel Escobar playing a great shortstop. 2 players you should consider to send to the All-Star game. It's a new ball game. It's a 1-run game now here in the 7th inning. Angel Sanchez, the second baseman, will start things off. He has struck out twice, 0 for 3 on the afternoon.
Now that the Blue Jays have gotten back into this game, Casey Janssen is getting up. Any sign of trouble, the middle of the lineup's been tough. Any sign of trouble, we might see Janssen in this ball game.
3-0. John Farrell keeping a close eye on Brandon Morrow. A 4-pitch walk to start the 7th. Checking with Bruce Walton now. See on the status of Casey Janssen, just how close he is to being ready. Shouldn't take him long.
As soon as the last out was made by the Blue Jays last inning, Jansen got up and started getting loose. So it shouldn't be that much longer until he's ready.
Hunter Pence hits it through the left side into left field. The first two are on here in the 7th. Hunter Pence has 4 hits in the series. John Farrell wants Molina to go out and talk to the pitcher. Buy Jansen a few more pitches down in that bullpen. I used to hate it when managers did that for the catcher because the pitcher knows darn well why you're coming out there.
Yeah, all he has to do is look to the right. John Farrell is now coming out.
And John Farrell got the go-ahead from the bullpen. Casey Janssen is ready. And he has made the call. So Morrow will leave after the first 2 reach here in the 7th. Blue Jays trail by a run. Houston has runners at first and second, nobody out. Casey Janssen will come out of the bullpen and face Carlos Lee when we come back. Those 2 batters, and when you look back at the afternoon, the Astros really didn't hit him that hard. He had a couple of bad breaks go against him, and fielder's choice. Carlos Lee reached in the first. That got Houston off to a 2-0 lead, and he ends up with 6 strikeouts. He allowed 9 hits, and now he'll look to Casey Janssen to help him out here in the 7th.
Found some holes all afternoon. Jansen's going to have to wriggle out of this one. 2 runners on, nobody out. He's been great. 17 games this year for Casey Janssen. He's allowed a run in just 2 of them. 2 earned runs over his last 9 1/3. Just pounding the strike zone, both sides.
He last pitched on Wednesday against Tampa Bay. Had a clean inning, just 1 inning and a strikeout. Carlos Lee. And Janssen has really done a good job locating his fastball to both sides of the plate.
Pounding the fastball away to right-handers with a little bit of a cut to it. Being very aggressive. Staying out of that middle.
Off-speed pitch had Lee fooled. Astros haven't seen much of Casey Janssen. Only Barmazan Bill Hall have faced him in the past. This is where Casey really has to be aggressive and take advantage of that.
And do it quickly also, before you start showing them your strikeout pitch or your go-to pitch, whatever you want to call it. Get it done and get it done early.
For a good spot down on the wing. Casey Jansen's pitching with a lot of confidence. He has worked hard. He's come back from serious injuries, and he's gained more prominent roles in the bullpen.
We talk so much about body language, and there's negative body language and there's positive body language, and right now Casey Jansen's body language is very positive.
Yeah, he's got an awful lot of positive mound presence right now. It makes a great pitch to get Carlos Lee
down and away. That is where he's been living against righties and lefties all season long.
It's a big out to retire the cleanup hitter. Brett Wallace has been swinging a hot bat. He's been on everything here this afternoon. He's carving up the edges, isn't he?
Right on the black. Tough to square anything up there. Lefties haven't been a problem to Casey Jansen this year.
Hitting 154 against Jansen. Cutter inside, 1-1. But you can see how quickly he gets the ball back from the catcher and goes right to the top of the mound, and then he's anxious to get the next sign.
He gets mad when he walks batters. It's a great attitude to have if you're a reliever. You've got an inning. Give me everything you have for that one inning, and don't walk anybody.
Wallace has hit a sac fly to left and singled to right twice. He's late on that fastball. Once again, it's not so much about velocity with Jansen, it's about location, and boy, he has made some quality pitches since coming into this game.
I think he was real happy with that last spot. He slapped his glove after that ball was fouled off by Wallace. Now throw a better one here. Looking for the ball on the ground. You get it on the ground and the Jays will be out of this inning.
Full count. Here's an option for Brad Mills. Do you start the runners? Sanchez at second. Pence at first. Wallace a pretty good contact hitter.
He's had 142 at bats coming into this game, and he's struck out 32 times.
But he has grounded into a team leading 5 double plays.
And that's why you might want to start the runners.
Again, Molina getting the infielders' attention. Should they break? Where is he going to throw the ball? You go for the trail runner. Pence gets a big lead at first with Rivera deep. 3-2, 1 out. Not running. Hit on the ground. Could be 2. Hill to Escobar for 1. Back to first, double play. Casey Jansen comes out of the bullpen, first and second, nobody out. Strikes out Carlos Lee and then gets the inning-ending double play. Taylor made 4-6-3 to end it. stranding the 2 inherited base runners. He strikes out Carlos Lee. Brandon Morrow goes 6 plus 2 batters. He scatters 9 hits over those 6 innings. Was charged with 4 earned runs for 104 pitches. And you look at the hits, he really wasn't hit hard all afternoon.
They found holes all afternoon.
One thing the Astros did, they hit with runners in scoring position. They were 4 for 7 against Brandon Morrow. So Davis, Thames, and McDonald as scheduled hitters here, with the Blue Jays down by a run. Brett Myers pitching into the 7th for the 41st time in his career as an Astro.
He gave him 6 innings every one of his starts last year when he came over from Philadelphia. 32 to start the season, a club record, longest in the majors to start a season since 2002.
Davis hits it into center field. Michael Bourne has a beat on him and makes the catch. 1 out.
Save during the lawn and garden sale, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Brett Myers has given up just a 3-run home run to Jose Bautista. That came in the 6th inning. Eric Thames has a base hit. He's also struck out.
Turn on 1 now. Let's see if they challenge him here. 1-0.
Sat back. He was looking for that curveball, but got underneath. Hits this one to the opposite field. The ball is carrying to the gap. Bogusevic gets there and can't make the play. It'll be a ground rule double for Eric Thames. He looked like he swiped at it, Bogusevic, and just missed it.
That's what it looked like from here. It looked like the ball was slicing back to him and whiffed on it. Good piece of hitting, breaking ball, and he stays behind it and stays with it and drives it to left field. He reaches up and misses it.
Looks like he might have sensed Michael Bourne was closer than he thought and kind of just shied away from it. But it's a ground rule double, first double of his career for Eric Thames.
His job now is to get a good read on anything hit to the outfield. Being a runner at second base, take a look at where the outfielders are playing. The left fielder is deep with John McDonald at the plate.
McDonald pops it up. Michael Bourne, the center fielder, makes the catch. Thames holds his ground at second. 2 outs now. Jose Molina singled his last time up. He scored on Bautista's home run. Thames needs to get a good secondary lead here with 2 outs.
Running on anything now. Go.
Base hit up the middle. Eric Thames gets the wave around third. Michael Bourne's throw to the plate is cut off. A tie game.
There it was right there. Just read it off the bat. 2 outs. You're running on anything. Jose Molina not wasting any time, sending one right back through the middle. Ball wasn't blistered by Molina, but hit hard enough to get to the outfield, and that allows Thames to read it and let's go. Scores easily, and we're tied.
2-out base hit for Molina. Escobar looks at a high pitch. It's 4-4. Blue Jays have come back from a 4-run deficit. Eric Thames with a couple of hits. He scored the tying run. Long drive to left field, and you can forget about it. Yunel Escobar, 2-run
First time up in yesterday's game, it looked like he was right on a ball, flew out deep to left, flew out deep to center. This time he doesn't miss it. He knows that he got all of that one. Pitch on the inner half, and he turns on that one. Just throws the bat away, and he knows it, and so does Brett Myers.
Second home run of the ball game for the Blue Jays, for Escobar, his 4th of the season. The Blue Jays have stormed back. 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th. They've knocked Brett Myers out of the game. Yunel Escobar, a 2-run home run. Sergio Escalona out of the bullpen. Patterson, not Escalona. Sometimes the minor leaguers have faced each other in AAA. Brett Myers is out of the game.
Thames faced him last night. The only batter that Escalona faced was Thames, and he struck him out. Brett Myers is out of the ball game. Here is the left-hander, the only lefty in the bullpen for Houston. The numbers on Myers was very good early, but he gave up 6 runs late. No walks and just a couple of strikeouts. The error played a big part.
And then the misplayed fly ball in left field. Double, ground rule double off the bat of Eric Thames. Just the 5th appearance for Escalona. As Pat mentioned, Escalona came in the game, faced one batter. That was Thames in last night's game, and struck him out.
I'm sure he was telling him he's got a good breaking ball. He threw him a 3-2 hook, strike him out in last night's game.
Ball and a strike. Patterson trying to extend his hit streak to 12 games. That would be a new career high. He is 0 for 3 this afternoon. Jose Bautista, his 17th home run of the season, a 3-run shot in the 6th, his last time up. Pretty good fastball up and away from Escalona.
Lefty's hitting just 176 off of him in his career.
Ball is popped up and should be playable. Chris Johnson in fair territory. And that'll do it for the Blue Jays. Score 3 runs. Yunel Escobar, a 2-run home run, his 4th of the season. Blue Jays lead 6-4 after 7. Equus from Hyundai, redefining luxury.
Sometimes you need just one hit to ignite a team, and it's Jose Bautista in the 6th inning after an error. A couple of runners on. Bye-bye. Number 17, 3 quick runs across the board, making a 4-0 game 4-3, and the Blue Jays would score 3 more. So that big hit by Bautista electrifying the team and electrifying the stadium.
2 hits this afternoon after an 0 for 8. Jason Frazier will be the 3rd Blue Jay pitcher to work here this afternoon. Casey Jansen with a terrific inning of work.
Certainly was. A double play ball and a ground out and a strikeout. Frazier pitched 3 days ago against Tampa Bay. Wasn't as sharp as we have seen him in the past. 30 pitches in that inning for Frazier. A couple of walks, but he did not give up a run. No decision in that game. He also had a strikeout. A couple of days to get it going, and then gives up an out.
The line drive to the glove side of John McDonald. Chris Johnson is retired.
Balls were falling in earlier today for the Astros. This time he covers that breaking ball, but McDonald's in a good spot. Third base is all about quickness. McDonald certainly has that.
Clint Marmus, the shortstop, is 0 for 3. He's also committed an error. His error led to a run in the 6th inning when he allowed Yunel Escobar to reach. Looked like a possible double play ball, went right through his legs. Then Bautista, a batter later, hit a home run. That was a turning point in the game. That ground ball looked like it could have been a double play after the leadoff single by Molina. Barmas had to go through his legs, and then Bautista hit the homer. Frazier looks like a different pitcher here this afternoon.
Much sharper. That one inning where he threw 30 pitches really took a lot out of him.
Now that's the one thing that Bruce Walton is always aware of, trying to make sure his relievers are well rested. When they are rested, they have been very good. Their ERA at 2.99 is first in the American League. Popped up, should be playable for McDonald. He's in foul territory. 2 outs. Boy, how quickly a game can change. Brett Myers was breezing, had a 4-0 lead. Basically the same way the game turned against the Blue Jays last night. They had a 2-0 lead in the 8th.
And one call or one play just has a bearing on the game. It could just turn the momentum and shift it from one side of the field to the other.
Last night it was a close 3-2 pitch on Michael Bourne. Bourne got on with a walk. Base hit by Barmas, and then the opposite field 2-run double tied it up. Brian Bogusevic, the left fielder, 1 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Change up in the dirt. It's a ball and a strike. Blue Jays will wrap up this first series of interleague play tomorrow afternoon, and then they'll head to the Bronx for a short visit to the Yankees. Monday, Tuesday, a couple of night games. Wednesday afternoon, then right back here to Rogers Center.
Paint with his fastball. That one registering at 94 miles an hour. He has now gone 10 1/3 straight scoreless innings for the club this year.
Struck him out. The bullpen has been great. Casey Jansen, Jason Frazier, a 3-up, 3-down, 8 Blue Jays lead at 6-4. Now it's time for an update with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn at the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Waiting another first, only from Rogers.
If you come out to the ball game, you might catch a home run ball from Jose Bautista. That's a good chance for that. But how about this? The father proving to his son that he can catch. I was a player. Gets the big hug, and then the son gets the baseball from dad. That's awesome.
Something they'll always remember, and a great memory for a young fan to say, hey, my dad caught a Jose Bautista home run. Had a great day at the ballpark, and it's been a good day for Jose Bautista.
Jose Valdez into the ball game now for the Astros. Valdez is a tall right-hander with one of those rubbery arms. Decent fastball. He's got a good splitter. His command has been the issue, though. 7 walks this year in 10 2/3 innings. 13 strikeouts in 10 2/3 major leagues innings this year.
And there's that first pitch splitter, and Bautista knows Valdez. He was well aware of that split finger pitch. 2 for 3, average back up to 359. Left field, high deep. He's done it again. Jose Bautista, number 18.
Third time this year that Jose Bautista has had a multi-home run game. He did it against Tampa on April the 23rd. And he did it at Minnesota, of course, that game where he hit 3. Falls behind 1-0 as Valdez throws a fastball, and Bautista doesn't miss it. Number 18.
Coming into this game, he had gone hitless in back-to-back games for the first time this season. Everybody said, what's wrong with Jose Bautista? Well, he's calmed everybody's concern. 3 hits, including 2 home runs. He's driven in 4. He now has 31 RBI for the season. th career multi-homer game for Bautista. Aaron Hill singles into center field. Two more home runs today for Jose Bautista. He is the major league home run leader. He has now widened the gap over Curtis Granderson by 4. Ryan Braun of the National League leads that league with 12. Tell you what, everybody was talking about Bautista because he's been so consistent. And you and I were talking to John Farrell today about, well, what's wrong with Jose Bautista? Let's go for 8.
He went 2 games without a home run.
Juan Rivera's had a single that came back in the 5th.
Jays have now out-hit the Astros 10-9. Brett Myers was in control through 5 innings.
Isn't it interesting? We've talked about it, how just one swing of the bat can turn a game in your favor. Last night, Brad Mills got that one swing of the bat from his right fielder, Hunter Pence, to tie it at 2-0. And Bautista's done it today. Just kind of
seemed to lift
everybody's cage a little bit.
Well, it just seemed to lift the whole stadium. You know, the fans got into the game. It's like they were sitting on their hands waiting for something to happen. It seemed like the team was down and flat. And that one swing, that 3-run home run, got them right back into the ball game. And just bring the intensity level in the stadium way up.
Juan Rivera, 3-0 count. Takes a strike on the corner. Still nobody out here in the 8th inning. Jose Valdez in his first inning of work. Bautista with 2 home runs here this afternoon, numbers 17 and 18. He hit his 17th and 18th last year on June 4th in the same game. So he's ahead of his 54 home run pace of a year ago. Ground ball to third. Johnson to second. Sanchez back to first. Double play. Rivera grounds into the 5-4-3 double play started by Chris Johnson.
Last year, the month of May for Bautista was the good month or the bad month?
The good month.
That was the good month.
June, he hit 4 home runs.
June was the month where he tailed off just a little bit.
April and June, in a 54 home run season, Bautista had 4 home runs in each of those 2 months. Rajai Davis grounds to the shortstop. Armas is across the diamond. The Blue Jays are retired here in the 8th, but Jose Bautista does it again. His 3rd multi-home run game of the season. Blue Jays lead it by 3.
Was a breaking ball from Brett Myers at 77 miles an hour and then a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. The whole key for Bautista is getting ready early, getting that front foot down. You can't throw a fastball by him.
He now has 18 home runs. He's on pace for 65 during the regular season. So I guess he's answered the critics. Can he do it again?
Yes, emphatically. John Roush into the ball game. We saw Roush in yesterday's game. He had a blown save through 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, and a walk. That was that walk to Michael Bourne that set up the whole inning. Roush has otherwise pitched very well this year. Just 6 base on balls for Roush.
Roush made some very positive comments after the game. He said, I thought it was a strike. The umpire's doing his best. He called it a ball, but that has nothing to do with the next 2 batters. I should have gotten out of the inning. So he said it was on him last night. He gave up the 2-run double to Hunter Pence in the 8th. The Astros tied it at 2-all. So Roush is on, save on the line. The Blue Jays lead by 3 here in the 9th.
Frankie Francisco has thrown the last 2 nights, so he is unavailable today. So just in case John Roush gets in trouble, Octavio Dotel is up, as is Mark Zebchinski to get ready.
2-0 to the number 9 hitter, the catcher Humberto Quintero. Quintero has on 0 for 2. He's also walked. Michael Bourne, the leadoff hitter, on deck. There's a strike. We can talk about the heroics of Bautista. 3-hit day, 2 home runs. He's driven in 4, but I'm going to look at Casey Jansen's outing. First and second, nobody out. Struck out the cleanup hitter Carlos Lee and got an inning-ending double play in the 7th. There's a ground ball to short.
You know, that could have been disastrous for the Blue Jays. They had just scored 3 runs to get within 1. A 4-pitch walk to lead off the inning, a single by Pence. It could have been danger with the middle of that lineup, but Jansen did a great job.
At that time, the score was 4-3 Astros. Jansen came on to strike out Carlos Lee first out of the inning, and then he got Brett Wallace, who had been perfect on the afternoon, to hit into a double play. Michael Bourne, he's hitless in 3 official trips. He walked and scored in the first. 7-3. Blue Jays have stormed back from a 4-0 deficit.
Bourne taking pitches to try and get on base. John Roush knows that. Pumps one right down the middle to him.
Slice down the left side, but that'll reach the seats. 21,494 here at Rogers Center on a beautiful afternoon for baseball. Jose Bautista has hit 2 home runs. He's driven in 4. His batting average up to .364. Bautista had fallen behind Matt Joyce of the Tampa Bay Rays in the batting race. Starting out, Bautista was second, 6 points behind Joyce.
I know what the whole key is, Buck. He hadn't hit a home run in a couple of days. Shaved his beard. Look at that, clean shaven. That's the key. Looks like a different guy today, doesn't he?
But they're not superstitious.
No.
Not one bit. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Breaking ball lifted into right field. Michael Bourne has a base hit. Bautista cuts it off to keep Bourne at first. John Roush wasn't too pleased with that last pitch, as he gives up the 1-out single to Michael Bourne.
Hung it up there a little bit. Curve ball right in the wheelhouse. And the reaction from Roush tells it all.
So he and Molina put their heads together. Angel Sanchez, the second baseman, is 0 for this afternoon. 1 out. Hopped out of play. 0-2. Roush is a hit.
Sanchez played a shortstop for the Astros at the beginning of the season while Clint Armas was on the disabled list. Why he has a great number of RBIs, 17 RBIs in just 130 at bats.
Down and away. Had a base hit in his only plate appearance in last night's game. That came in the 9th inning against Frank Francisco. He came around and scored the 3rd run in that 9th inning on the base hit by Michael Bourne. 1-2. Cued off the end of the bat. Blue Jays trying to move back over 500. 22-22, 2.5 back in the American League East. Ball is driven toward the gap in left center. That'll get down and split the outfielders. That'll go all the way to the wall. Michael Bourne is getting the wave around third. And the ball will be cut off in the outfield. Sanchez, his first hit's a double, and he drives home Bourne all the way from first.
Another RBI for Sanchez, number 18.
And John Farrell is quickly out of the dugout. He's made the call to the bullpen. It'll be the right-hander Octavio Dotel, the former Astro, will come on and try to close out this inning. Astros had made it interesting. They'll have the tying run at the plate when Dotel faces Pence. Dotel, former Houston Astro, will come on to try to close it out. Dotel making his 15th appearance of the season.
This thing is all about right-on-right matchups right now. Dotel has been tough on the right-handers. It's a 179 average. He's given up 5 hits last year. Held right-handed hitters to a 166 average. Had a stretch where righties were just 1 for 30, and he has had success as a closer in his career.
He saved 22 games for Oakland in 2004 after he started out the season in Houston. He had 14 saves before that trade. It was his best season out of the bullpen. Last year he had 21 saves for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hunter Pence goes after the first pitch, and it rattles off Molina's glove. Sanchez moves to third. Be a pass ball on Molina.
We've seen this from Molina. He just misses it. Ball wasn't fouled by Pence at all, just hit off the thumb of the glove. It was a pass ball.
Infield will stay back. Blue Jays have a 2-run lead with 1 out. Good fastball catches the outside corner. Dotel went to the Astros in 1999, December that year. He went along with Roger Clemens. Well, Mike Hampton, Roger Cedeno, excuse me, Mike Hampton and Derek Bell.
Got a good slider. That is his out pitch when he's against those right-handers. That good hard slider, but he has to establish his fastball.
1-2. Breaking ball bends around the inside corner. Now this is a dangerous part of this lineup. Hunter Pence got the big hit in last night's game. And this breaking ball just spun out of Dotel's hand. Well inside. 2-2. Carlos Lee is on deck. Dotel with the big strikeout gets Hunter Pence with the fastball.
You mentioned the 21 saves he had for Pittsburgh last year. He also had one for the Dodgers before he was traded. 22 last year, 105 in his career. That time he just dotted the outside corner for the strikeout. That run doesn't mean anything right there at third base. It's this guy right here. Outfielder got to keep him off of second base.
Late on the fastball, pops it over near the dugout, and it'll be off the dugout, out of play.
There are his numbers in his career. He's only faced Dotel 7 times. A couple of hits, one of them a long one.
Brett Wallace on deck. Wallace has had a couple of hits this afternoon. Ground ball to third. John McDonald. Blue Jays win it. Dotel comes on, picks up his first save of the season. Jose Bautista, 2 home runs in a 4 RBI afternoon. Yunel Escobar hit a 2-run shot in the 7th, his 4th of the season. The Blue Jays win it 7-5. They pound out 10 hits against Houston to even the series at a game apiece.
It took them a while to figure out Brett Myers, but they got to him on a big error by the shortstop. Opened the door to the 3-run home run for Bautista. They would score 3 more runs in the 7th inning. Escobar with the exclamation point that inning with the home run, and then Dotel does the rest here in the 9th.
The Blue Jays fought back from a 4-0